And when I found out that this was our theme for January, I immediately knew who I was going to ask to come hang out. Anthony is like the embodiment of hope and joy. And yeah, there's just nothing else, no one else I wanted to have. Anthony, for those who don't know him, is a celebrated artist known for distilling ideas into simple and powerful forms. He believes in the power of words, gentle humor, and straightforward communication. Anthony's work is in the permanent collections at the V&A, the Design Museum, the Cooper Hewitt in New York, and he's exhibited and spoken all over the world. And in the meantime, while I was thinking about Anthony, I was also thinking about a charity I had been following, supporting, cheering on for many years, very dear to my heart, and doing incredible work in the space of hope. And so War Child is the company I was also thinking of wanting to hear more about when this theme came up. War Child is a charity ensuring a safe future for every child affected by war. So I asked Anthony if possibly we could, make something happen. And he introduced me to Nafisa, who's amazing. And I'm just so happy. We're just scratching the surface of what we're going to do together. Nafisa is the creative industries manager at War Child UK. She works at the intersection of creativity, culture, and social impact. She shapes collaborations where creativity is both an expression and an action. She works closely with artists to create projects that raise awareness, funds, and hope for children affected by conflict. Nafisa believes that the creative industries play a key role in shaping culture, optimism, and collective responsibility, and so do we. Anthony has collaborated with Nafisa for a long time, and today we'll hear the behind the scenes, the secret things going on behind the collaborations, future plans, all this juicy stuff. Can I have a big round of applause for Anthony and Nafisa, please?
Theme of hope. I think that word, the sort of the glimmer of light in the distance is an amazing way of thinking about hope as well. That even in the darkest times, there's that little glimmer.
Yeah, and that's such a nice description of what hope is. I think for me, hope is very much that. So that belief and strong feeling that you're able to spark change or bring light, as you say, to uncertain moments and times of hardship.
This is your Venn diagram, isn't it?
So this started as a little doodle to Anthony, where I was just trying to express how hope can sit in the context of charity and fundraising. So it's pretty basic, but on the left you see funds and awareness, and this represents the inherent needs, urgent needs, and things that we require for tangible impact on the world. On the right, we have expression and action. So this represents creative intent, and that comes together to form hope. And hope is where art can retain its integrity and at the same time instigate real impactful change.
So just a little bit about me. I made that 21 years ago, and it's still my best known piece of work. It's something I kind of live by. So I do big murals on the sides of buildings up in Leeds. Work with the V&A. Think of your own ideas. So just to have a kind of piece of work in that context with, the height of Renaissance art is just, I just love that kind of creative tension between putting words in particular places and having that kind of cultural impact. Do exhibitions. This is just on Mare Street. This a couple of years ago, had this exhibition, and the building was just as interesting on the outside as the inside. Joy in life. This is on my friend's barn on his apple farm down the road from where I live. And it's like for years I'd been thinking, I'd quite like to get my hands on that barn. Do books and publications, lots of different things, skateboards. That's my son holding the skateboard. but a lot of my stuff is, it's always been about asking questions, and it's about kind of finding out things and finding new ways of doing things. Question everything, kind of questioning the world, questioning your place in the world, what it means to make work and put it out into the world, and don't say nothing. So this was a double negative that I heard when I was on an EasyJet flight on holiday, and the guy behind me is like having trouble with his kids and he's going, "Right, don't say nothing." And I was like, actually, that's a double negative. So it didn't go down well. Action, not words. So, kind of put your work out there and kind of make change. And this is about connection and community. So I've always been interested in kind of campaigning and protest. So this is a project I did, Gulf of Mexico oil spill. So we printed this poster using sand and oil from the beach, and this is screen printed. So the edition, I think there's like 200 prints in the edition, and they gradually got more degraded over the kind of course of the kind of printing. Just thinking about the language of protest, so the suffragettes, this is kind of, over 100 years ago, and it's still an incredibly powerful image. Civil rights era in America. So that really simple phrase, "I'm a man," then when you see it repeated as part of a protest, it's the power of community and words put together. Atelier Populaire in Paris. So all of these examples are things that I've kind of really connected with over the years. So kind of using screen print as like a really immediate method to kind of get information out onto the streets. There's the kind of social media of its time. John and Yoko, "War is over if you want it." I just love the kind of poetry of this image. Yoko from her work with Fluxus, and then John, probably one of the most famous people in the world, but using his power to kind of get these messages across. Really incredible moment. Catherine Hamnet meeting Thatcher in Downing Street. So she had her jacket zipped up, and then just as she was grasping the cold, dead hand of Margaret, she unzipped her jacket to reveal the phrase and got the photograph. So incredible. So, you can make an action just by wearing a T-shirt in the right place. So that's about words in context in places. And the peace symbol. So, the ultimate symbol of peace. And it's just a circle and a few lines. It's like the visual representation of what we think about as peace is now embodied by that very simple graphic. Back to Hope. So this was, I think, one of the first projects I did with War Child back in the day. So this was a screen print, and I think we made tote bags so that they were sold as a kind of fundraising edition, and that leads us to Secret 7.
Well, Anthony has, of course, been such a long-time collaborator of War Child, and you've contributed in many ways to Secret 7. But I thought it would be helpful to explain what Secret 7 is. So it's our annual record sleeve exhibition and auction fundraiser. And the concept is we work with seven prolific musicians who select a track that has significance or importance or has never been released before on 7-inch vinyl. And from that, we're able to press that track 100 times with our partner, the Vinyl Factory. And if you can do the maths, that's 700 records in total. And our ask to artists and designers is to design something bespoke, a unique, one-of-a-kind record sleeve design. And we produce this visually striking exhibition, which, is just so phenomenal to see all of that work come together. The contributions for the record sleeves are a mix of the open call that we have for the public, as well as personal invites to high-profile artists. And the best part, so I'm figuring out here how to ravel through this, but the best part of Secret 7 is in the name, it's a secret. So everything is anonymized. All of the artworks are showcased side by side without you knowing which artist has designed which record sleeve, which is incredible because it means you could be someone at the start of your creative practice and your work is exhibited alongside the Rana Begums, the Stanley Donwoods, and the Anthony Burrills of the world.
Imagine that. but it's an amazing event, and it's kind of for the creative community as well, for kind of like artists and designers and illustrators. It's a really great. It's just a brilliant thing to be part of, and it's like the opening night party is always really great, and it's just one of those things where you get to make a record sleeve for a piece of music that you kind of connect with in a way, and then it's
that's it. It's for all of the artists and designers to select a track that forms the inspiration for their design. So the value of the record itself instantly increases because you've got this custom artwork as well. It's up to you if you want to display that. I know so many people that have done it beautifully. But ultimately, it's a way for us to connect with the creative communities, because at its heart, Secret 7 is a community show. And we're so very proud of it. And I'm super happy to share as well that's entering, voice breaking that, it's entering its 10th edition this year. So for us, that's a major anniversary to celebrate. And we'll have very exciting announcements coming soon this spring.
exciting.
Mysterious.
Yeah. Glastonbury.
Where we properly met, actually. So we met at Glastonbury at the wonderful installation that Anthony designed with hope emblazoned at the top.
Yeah.
And it was a great experience because, I mean, we bonded, realised we had lots in common, both personally and professionally.
Yeah. All about the vibes, really.
We caught some vibes. But also, it was just such a brilliant opportunity to engage with festival goers about War Child's work in such a natural way, with beautiful design outside of us, behind us, but also we were able to invite people inside this structure. And we hosted an activation as well, where we wrote down messages of hope on postcards made from sea paper. Would you like to talk through the design process?
Yeah. So it all started exactly a year ago. So it was I was lucky enough to be invited to the Brits, and I sat on this table with the music charities, and somebody mentioned Glastonbury, and I was like, Glastonbury?
It is picked up.
So we just started talking about the potential to make a project with War Child for Glastonbury. So I kind of made these little sketches. This is my little sketchbook. So I was kind of like envisioning this kind of little cabin, kind of kiosk thing on stilts with a little flag over the top. So that was my kind of like initial rough idea that we talked about. So this is Silver Haze. So this is the space at Glastonbury that we were working with. So I've got a long history with Glastonbury. I kind of like started going a long time ago, and it's just like a magical place, and it kind of, for me, it kind of embodies a lot of the things that I think about all the time about community, and just being able to sit down and chat to random people at 5 a.m. by the stone circle, and just all of that. So it's kind of like you enter into a space that it's just like everyone is very, we're all on the kind of same page, really. So to kind of finally make a project for Glastonbury was, a real dream come true. So we worked with Love Productions in Bristol, who were kind of overseeing the whole of Silver Haze. So this was like one of our first meetings, like looking at the kind of wireframe diagram, and I was getting super excited about this. So I had that initial idea to kind of do this, and I'd worked with Michael Marriott, who's a furniture product designer and just like general all-round legend.
I can back that because he also designs the exhibition for Secret 7.
Yeah, so there's real crossover, but yeah, Michael's brilliant. So I showed him my kind of thumbnail sketch, and we started kind of drawing it out all proper on a computer. in straight lines and things. So we had like 3 by 3 meter space that we could work within, and we just went up as high as we could. So the kind of basic concept was that there was a big piece of type over the top saying hope. So they produced, so after that initial drawing, we kind of worked on the kind of sketches, and they produced this really cute little 3D render. And I was like, yeah, it's going to work. So it's kind of a blank canvas to kind of populate with graphics, a mixture of screen print, digital print, and painted stuff. So I kind of wanted it to kind of look like a piece of my work and also communicate War Child's message. And I think that's one of the amazing things about working with War Child, is that when they work with artists in particular, it's a real kind of collaboration. You know, you don't have to kind of deal with, corporate guidelines and stuff like that. You can produce a piece of work that is, it's just like pure and beautiful.
Yeah, we always try to meet artists where they are, so we would never say that you have to design in a certain way. Like, we would always love for you to create in the way that you think best, and then of course we will provide that top line brief. So in this context, you had the incredible Glastonbury production.
So then some bits, kind of stripy lines on the outside. So I made these 4 kind of text pieces that kind of formed like all the communication and all the kind of the things that were going to be around the building. Sketching out the interior. So we thought it'd be quite funny to give a little hacienda reference to it. So we kind of, I know Ben Kelly who designed the hacienda, and he was completely on board with this. So so Michael and I introduced kind of some stripes, the kind of colour palette, the little bollards by the dance floor. So to kind of create this kind of fun interior. And then we had this like amazing little render of the building. It looks so cute. I kind of wanted like a kind of scale model of it.
A little model would be so nice.
Like little mini people walking in and out of it. So and then the actual production began. This is down in Bristol, and so to start seeing these photographs coming through and seeing the kind of how it was going to work with the kind of scale and everything was super exciting. It's basically my dream project of my entire life. So then we went down to install it. So this is the week before the festival. Whoops. So we got on site, and the basic structure had been put in place, and we just spent a couple of days painting it, installing bits, and painting on the outside. So it's just great to be on the site. That was my accommodation for the night. That was very lovely. I didn't sleep a wink. I think it was the ley lines were messing with my chakras.
Or was it the late nights?
I don't know. Maybe some coffee was involved. But to kind of just be on site and it to be completely deserted was incredible. Yeah. And I was kind of walking past places thinking, 15 years ago I was sat just there, off my head. So the kind of big letters arrived, and it was all installed. Bits of the interior. So it was just a really kind of interesting environment, kind of quite a lively space on the inside, but still a kind of somewhere you could kind of escape the madness of the rest of the festival.
Yeah, absolutely. It was such a busy area, and we found that there was so much footfall because you would leave the public camping area and walk straight through the main path of Silverhaze. So it's a nice opportunity to engage with people who weren't quite ready to dive into the rest of Glastonbury. So we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah. So this is the finished building. So it's kind of it's almost like a kind of billboard, and it's like it's delivering the message, and it's like a 3-dimensional sculptural space. But I think it's something really interesting. And then when you see it as the kind of crowds of people kind of interacting with it, and still you can see the sign Hope kind of just above everybody's heads, and it was a bit of a landmark as well.
You can see it from so far away, and it became a bit of a meeting point as well, which is great.
People, meeting them. And yeah, we extended all the messages like across T-shirts, and it was great to see them around the site. So yeah, when you're getting your water, you kind of, it was beautiful because you just saw the message, and there was, you kind of, I don't know whether you just kind of saw this pasted around, and then you kind of connect it back to the building, and it's just a really nice way of kind of getting into people's heads, I think. Even though this, I don't know if you spotted, but that's upside down. And yeah, on the beautiful flags as well. So when the sun was like...
I love the flags. They look so good when you were walking through the area.
And that's the team on the ground.
I really loved your energy throughout the festival as well. You're making sure to check on us and the team, making sure we were happy. But I could really feel that sense of pride as well. And I think this is a real testament to the longevity of this ongoing collaboration that we have with you and what it can culminate into.
I think it was like maybe the day before I was due to travel down to Glastonbury, I got a brief from War Child to design a piece, kind of like visual thing for this campaign. So do you want to explain the campaign?
Yes, so Red Line for Gaza was our campaign. It was a coalition between charities, organisations and members of the public to lobby the government to take action in Gaza. And the results of this were just phenomenal. We managed to reach 100% of MPs and over 100,000 emails were sent. And I really appreciated how impactful this design was, because it's such an example for how you can communicate both a campaign and a message here.
Yeah, and I think it was just like the kind of imagining that red line, kind of like it was just a kind of graphic response to the idea, really. So yeah, and then when you see it repeated, and it was used by lots of the other charities involved as well. So yeah, it's really it was great to kind of connect that with the Hope Pavilion in Glastonbury. It was kind of around the same time, wasn't it? It was a good idea to kind of like almost like finalise what we'd done during the summer. So I made this print, Hold On to Hope. So it kind of referenced back to the building, and for the first time people could buy it as a print. So yeah, so we put that on the War Child website and raised lots of funds.
Yeah, it was a really great way to, I guess, wrap up the year. And with prints, of course, this forms a part of our fundraising. So the last two examples with the Hope installation and the Red Line for Gaza, this was awareness and reach. But yeah, the print has been an incredible model for fundraising. We actually have a couple left. It was a limited edition, so you can find that on our website.
Yep. Kind of summing up things, really. I think for me it's really important to make your work visible, is to kind of get out there, and we all have things we want to talk about, and it's really important to kind of connect with people who are doing important work. So I think when you see stuff happening, like last weekend in Minneapolis, it's so kind of upsetting and disheartening. But it's almost like this is the time to really get out there and be creative and kind of connect with people, as rather than kind of withdrawing and thinking that as a creative, what have I got to add to the conversation? But it's like, it's particularly now and the world that we're in, we just need to kind of get out and kind of connect and do stuff, and do stuff like this morning. It's like incredible that we can connect in this way to make meaningful and engaging work. So I think it's wherever you can, in whatever kind of creative sphere that you're in, is to kind of make work that really has a kind of consistent message behind it, and to kind of keep that consistency through everything that you do, and kind of engage, make work for good and change the world, hopefully. Thanks.